Alright, welcome to this new video. This video we're going over losing streaks. And we're going over the game plan, how you can deal with a losing week and how you can improve on that to not make the mistakes in the next week and don't be mentally drained by having a losing streak. First, let's go over a framework. The first one is non-negotiable rules. What you see most beginner traders do is they have a strategy they see on Twitter, on YouTube, or from a course they bought, and they're using the strategy and it works. They make some money or they make some wins. And if they lose a few trades in a row using the strategy, the conclusion for them is, oh, the market isn't working in my favor. This strategy isn't working anymore. Let's try to find the next new shiny object. So they go on YouTube, they search 90% win rate strategy, and they find a new one, they apply it, get some wins, get some money, get some wins, then they lose a few, and the cycle goes on and on. So the first non-negotiable is no strategy hopping. Stick with your trading plan. The second non-negotiable is focus intentionally on how you can improve the execution of your current trading plan. So no strategy hopping. Stick with your same trading plan, but look at, hey, how did I execute? Know that behind every trading plan, the weakest link is the human being. So it's you, it's me, it's the trader. So next question, what can you do? Go back to your trades, your losing trades, and go over the following checklist. 1. Was this trade idea according to my strategy? So according to your trade plan. Was my previous trade still playing in my head? So for example, your previous trade was a big win, or it was a loss, or there were a few losses in a row, but was that previous trade still playing in your head? That could play a big role in how you execute the next trade. And the third one, was my execution on the strategy good, or can it be improved? So after this, we're going over a few trades this week. This is a losing week for me, and I want to be fully transparent with you guys. I'm going to show you my execution. I'm going to show you where I did wrong and where I can improve and what steps I'm going to take into the new weeks. I know this mentorship is all about teaching you the new strategies, but I think too few people talk about the mental side of trading, how losing can affect you, and how you can deal with it. And the main goal of this lecture, guys, is your maturity as a trader can be seen as the amount of accounts you blow inside a losing streak. So beginner traders will blow every single account in a losing streak. They will FOMO trade, they will revenge trade, but keep your head in the game. Be accountable to yourself. You need to have losing weeks. You need to have losing streaks and be intentional on how you can improve them. Okay, that said, let's go in short over my rules. Your trading plan should be on a napkin, and this is mine. On the higher time frame, on the daily, weekly, monthly, I'm looking for internal range liquidity to external range liquidity, or vice versa. This is what I do every Sunday in a weekly outlook. Then I'm going to the 1 hour and 4 hour to look for a market maker buy or sell model. And I'm looking for lower time frame confirmation of 1 and 2 with entry models, like the school model, the 2022 model. And this is how every trading week starts for me. And now let's go over every losing trade this week and analyze based on this framework. In this first trade of the week, we're going over EuroCAD. My bias on EuroCAD was long because on the weekly, we were in a internal range liquidity to external range liquidity move. So from a value gap to a high. On the 4 hour, we were having a market maker buy model, smart money reversal here. And I was catching the long towards this original consolidation, towards these highs. And then on the 15-minute, I was looking for a liquidity sweep, market structure shift with a value gap, take the entry from there. And that was here. And as you can see in hindsight, it was a loss. And eventually, it was a Monday. On Tuesday, after it got taken out, it went to take profit. So now let's go over the checklist. Was my trade idea according to my trade plan? Yes, it was. So that's good. Secondly, was my previous trade still in my head? No, it wasn't. It was the first trade of the week. So that's fine. Then the third one, can I improve on the execution? I think I can. And let's go over the possible improvement here. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Here on the 4 hour, we are inside this 4 hour busy. My trade idea was planned on this low of the day inside London and then expanding higher. And that's the question, how can I anticipate these wicks? Because the bodies are still my stop loss. It was the wick who did the damage to this trade. And when I was looking at the 50-minute chart, I saw what I did wrong. Below my stop loss was still a 50-minute value gap with a high probability order block just waiting to be touched. This is a high probability order block. Why? these down close candles trade into a fair value gap. So this order block was still valid. And you see price touches this a few times and then moves away. So next time I have two options. Or I'm going to reduce my RR by putting my stop loss below the fair value gap here. Or I'm going to wait until this fair value gap is reached and take the risk of missing the trade. Now let's take a look at this second trade. In the second trade, it was Wednesday, London. And on a higher time frame, we were in a internal range to external range liquidity on GBP AUD. Show you on a higher time frame. This was on Wednesday. So I was expecting to be Tuesday high of the week. And then Wednesday, setting a high of the day in London and then trade lower. So around London, I was looking for a short setup. And then I was like, okay, is this consolidation going to hold? And I honestly was a little greedy here because I completely faded this consolidation. And you guys know what I teach you. If you see a up move, and this was a red folder of AUD, and then you see consolidation, the move lower is not the reverse, because after a consolidation, there always needs to be some form of expansion. And I completely faded that. And on the 5 minute, in this daily internal to external, I was just looking for basically the first fair value gap I could see. And it was here at 3. I saw this fair value gap down with displacement. I took the entry here. And it was combined with an SMT with Euro AUD. So that even confirmed more that we were going lower. And the target was this consolidation here. In hindsight, you can see I got stopped out. And what I did even more wrong here, I even took a re-entry somewhere lower here, somewhere around here. So I took basically 2 setups in the same trade idea, even when my trade idea was already invalidated. So 2 losses here. And it was a greediness from my side. And if you go over the checklist, the first one, was this trade according to my trade idea? Yes, I would say it was, because daily internal to external range liquidity and a lower time frame looking for your entry model with a market maker sell model. And a market maker sell model, I thought this would be the market maker sell model, but yeah, I completely faded this. I was too greedy here. But if you look a little to the right, the market maker sell model is right here. So I just needed to wait 1 session, and I can show you on the 1 hour as well. I needed to wait 1 session because we had that SMT on the highs here, and then here, start of New York, we displaced lower, leaving a fair value gap, and that was the fair value gap I should have targeted before going lower and eventually taking this low, taking this low. So the trade idea was good, so no strategy hopping, the system still works. Was my previous trade idea still in my head? The first execution, it wasn't. Maybe a little, because I already took a loss on EuroCAD on Monday. But the second one, definitely. The re-entry in the same session. So what's going to be added from next week to the trade journal? No re-entry inside the same session. So if I take a loss in 1 session, I'm just going to wait at least till the next session or maybe the next day. So if I take a loss in London, I will enter again if I'm going to enter in New York. If the loss is in New York, I'll wait for London. The third, the checklist. Can I improve on the execution? Definitely. Wait for the next session, wait for your higher time frame displacement, and then go again. I am teaching you guys in the live trading that you shouldn't be the guy who trades the first fair value gap down, and I was that guy, and I got burned for it. And that's good. You learn from that. Let's go on to the next trade. In this next example, we're looking at the Euro NZD. And if we go to the daily, my trade idea was a daily internal range to external range play. And here in the daily, on Wednesday, I was looking for, okay, do we trade it to this daily SIBI? And can we then target the external range liquidity here together with this low? I was waiting for that. And if you go from the daily to the 4 hour, I faded this move on Wednesday. So on Thursday, I was looking for, okay, can we get an entry? And then I saw displacement here on the 4 hour, leaving a fair value gap. Price comes back into this order block and then moves away. So I went then to the 50 minutes for an entry. And what I'm looking for, if I'm thinking this is market maker sell model with the smart money reversal inside a higher time frame key level, like it did, I want to see premium arrays holding. So I was seeing this fair value gap hold together with this order block. I saw this fair value gap hold. I saw this fair value gap holding. So I was like, okay, this can be the trade. Correction, this fair value gap I didn't see. It was after the trade, but my stop loss was placed that it could trade into that and then go lower. My entry was at the end of London here. And price trades almost to the take profit and then reversed, taking me out. And then we're going over the checklist again. Was the trade idea according to my trade plan? Yes, it was. Higher time frame key level, looking for the market maker sell model, entry on the lower time frames. So yes, it was. Was the previous trades still in my head, the other losses? No, it wasn't. It was a standalone loss. It was the day after. This was on Thursday. And the other losses were on Monday and on Wednesday. So no, it wasn't. And then the third one, how can I improve on this execution? The first thing to improve would be wait until this 15-minute fair value gap. I took it here, but I could just wait for the Euro session. Then I could have been a better entry. And also my stop loss could be higher. But I was either way want to target these lows, of course. So I wouldn't be sure if that made the whole difference. But let's take a look if I can execute on the higher time frames. If I'm looking here at the hourly, I'm not seeing an entry where I could make it better. And let's see on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, I already was watching this order block trade, this up close candles into this order block after value gap, then trade away. So this is an order block as well. So again, even on the 4 hour, if I would entry, I would still enter from this order block. So the wick here at 9 a.m. So then my entry will be here, but still I would have targeted these lows. So either way, on both the 3 checklist points, I wouldn't have changed this trade. And that's amazing. Why? I go over 3 checks, all the boxes check off, and then it's just a numbers game. It's your edge. So this trade was well executed. I'm happy with that. And now I can move on. And for this last trade, we are on NASDAQ and we are inside a daily busy. I was looking for a daily internal to external to this swing high. And then on the 15-minute, I saw a market maker buy model forming. This Wednesday low looked like the smart money reversal. You see the energy. And then what I like to do is to see does price comes back into discount of this range. And even came back to the OT area, this fair value gap at 515 here. And then it displays the way again. So around the open, I saw in a buy program, all the discount arrays should hold. I saw this fair value gap, 15 minutes, bodies are respecting it, displacing higher. Then this fair value gap and the order block hold and then displays higher again. So around the open here, 9:30, I was like, I can execute from this 15-minute fair value gap and supported by all these discount arrays that's already were holding. And my low-hanging fruit was this swing high, and I'm trading this on an Apex funded account, on an Apex futures account. So I only need to 1 to 2. So I was like, okay, I need this as low-hanging fruit, 1 to 2. This should be protected. So then let's go over the 3 checklists. Was this trade based on my trade plan? Yes, it was. Higher time frame key level, daily, internal to external. Was my previous trade inside my head? No, it wasn't. I was very happy to see this price action. And then the third one, how can the execution be improved? I think that it can be improved in 2 ways. 1, the low-hanging fruit was this high, but if you do an internal to external, this should be your take profit. If you need a 1 to 2, then this should be my stop loss, and I would be stopped out, but I want to emphasize something more. Every day on stream, I'm going to the 1 minute on NQ, because I'm always playing the same game. On the 1 minute, around the 10 a.m. open, you can find a beautiful entry between 9:30 and 10 a.m. And this was the move I got stopped out with. We were taking out lows, and here was also an SMT with ES, and I didn't wait for any SMT on a lower time frame. So it was just a 15-minute execution without any refinement on the lower time frames. And on NQ, I know I can do that. So I would improve on that. Secondly, don't trade the first minute after the open, which I did. It was 9:35 when I entered. In the open volatility, you can get stopped out very easily. So based on my winning trades, I always wait till around 9:45 till 10:15. And then you see a clear market maker buy model appearing. Displacement upwards, price even comes back into this fair value gap here, and then every discount array is holding. Even if on a 15-minute, this fair value gap didn't hold, later, in my usual kill zone, here 10 a.m., was a fair value gap created, and I could have entered just before lunch. And then the entry would be fair value gap, low-hanging fruit, this high or this high, 1 to 2 right here, or this high and then stop loss right here. So I can refine my entry. So this was not the best entry. I shouldn't trade NQ just around the open, and you guys see me do it on stream daily. So this is how I would improve this execution. To conclude, what am I going to do different inside next week? And I'm going to add 2 rules towards my existing trading plan. And no, the strategy doesn't change by this, just my execution is going to be a little adjusted. I'm going to test that if this works out for me better. The first one was based on my GBP AUD trade, so no re-entry inside the same session. And the second rule I'm going to add to my trade plan for next week is I'm not going to execute lower than the 15 minute. So what I mean by this is, for example, the GBP AUD trade, I was trading the first 5-minute displacement lower, which was obviously not the right choice. I should have waited for a 1-hour array to form. So when I'm trading from, for example, a daily array, I'm going to wait for an 1-hour execution. If I'm trading from a 4-hour array, I'm going to wait for a 50-minute execution. And this all on the Forex side. So I'm not going to use the 5-minute and a 1-minute on the Forex side next week. The only time I'm going to use the 1 and the 5-minute is on NQ when streaming daily on those Apex accounts, because there's where my strategy is forming the best. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a more vulnerable video because I'm showing the weaknesses of my trades, and it's not only payouts, cool stuff, and the mentorship. I think it's really important that you guys see not only the good side of trading, but also the bad side of trading. This week was not a good trading week for me, and I was the weakest link here. And the only way you can improve is by 1, not blowing your account, 2, don't be angry or upset, and 3, be intentionally about how you can improve for the next week. And next week, make sure you don't make the same mistake twice. So if I'm going to the lower time frames, for example, next week, on a 5-minute and 1-minute on the Forex pairs, I'm that donkey. I shouldn't do that. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to re-entry inside the same session next week. But my strategy stays the same. So Sunday weekly outlook, daily streams. The market is looking amazing. Next week is CPI. So I hope to see you all there. And happy trading. And I'll see you in the next one.